I would say like almost like
Like, what would you say is like your like a block that you're having right now?
um shit, really just more access to more capital to get more whips at the end of the day, to like have more inventory to grow the business. Um, so that, and then I want to eventually kind of like move up a tier into um, like some real whips, like, you know what I mean, the
Okay.
luxuries and the exotics, and kind of getting access to that, working with like investors, joint ventures, shit like that, you know.
Mhm.
Um,
Again, right? So like,
and
I want
shit
you to
like
look at
that.
it like that, that right there, what you just said, that's the effect,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's the manifestation of something,
Yeah.
right? So in order for you to manifest that, what we need to look at, well, what's the cause?
Mm-hmm.
Because the cause, your cause right now, is why you have the fleet and the cars that you have currently.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for us to change and attract that reality that you're trying to step into, well, we have to look at what is happening, like what's your cause
Mm-hmm.
now in your personal life,
Mm.
and that's like that bridge,
Yeah.
like when you work on yourself personally, professionally, it's just gonna roll over, as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to if you don't like your personal life like that,
Yeah.
you're gonna pour it all into your professional life, hoping that it fulfills you, but it's not going to fulfill you as much as you think it is.
Yeah.
So where is it in your personal life
Mm-hmm.
that you feel somewhere stuck? Because I wanna
Yeah.
I wanna help you see it like this, like let's say, how are we gonna map this out? So we're gonna map it out in a sense like, um, so let's say version A. I don't know if they'll be able to see that. We're just gonna put it in black. So I'm gonna write version A, and then we're gonna map this out as like version B. And version B is like, let's write it as like your desired reality,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
version A, making, between
Yeah.
20, 25K
Yeah.
a month.
Sheesh.
But throughout your day, what is the main emotion that you feel? Do you feel clear headed? Do you feel a little bit all over the place? We spoke about this a little bit over the phone.
Yeah.
You can feel a little drained or tired.
Oh yeah.
You would say,
Yeah. For sure.
all right. So
Yeah.
so physically, mentally, we're drained. Would you say?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I have moments where I sort of like tap into, like that desired reality. Like I'll have like flashes of it, and then I'll feel like I'm in a flow state. Um, for the most part, though, yeah, I'm spending a little too much time like
Okay.
feeling that way in a sense, because
And
like I'm just kind of like, fuck, where am I stuck? You know,
okay, so feeling of stuck.
stuck or just in the same place for like a good amount of time, and then not really seeing the way out. And that's because like from from the last meetup at the cigar shop, I was kind of waiting on the new year to start, and then the new year started, and I'm just like, well, shit. I kind of been cleaning up some stuff from like last year that I gotta like just kind of figure out and knock out. Not to go into too much detail, and I'm like in the final stretches of that. I pretty much dissolved my old company, so um, the state is like asking for a bunch of stuff, so I'm kind of finalizing all of that. But once that's like out the way, I can kind of focus more on like, you know, this shit, you know? And like, I was even planning on like fucking signing up tonight, you know?
Yeah.
Some shit like that, you know, where it's
So
like.
you're trying to like, you've been trying to finalize those things and get that out of the way for you to begin the right paperwork to structure your business how you know it has to be structured instead of how it is now.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure. And then like really taking steps to like secure those assets and shit like that. And then, you know, even to get deeper, like, you know, even with the cribs, I got like put the mugs in a trust.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe even like a exotic like offshore trust or something. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I had to let that one out.
But this is good though, because again, like everything is energy, right? We live in an energetic, emotional reality. Reality feeds off of your emotions.
Yeah.
That's what people overlook. Reality is always feeding off of your emotions. So we're asking, you are feeling this. How often do you feel stuck?
A lot.
You feel it a lot, right? Exactly my point.
A lot.
Now,
and then it's even to the point where like I'm like interviewing, because like, you know, I'll get hit up on like LinkedIn, or some of these recruiters are like aggressive. They'll call me, hey, you want to interview for this position? And I'm like, if it come to me, I'm like, all right, fuck it, you know? But I'm not out there like aggressively seeking it, you know what I'm saying?
So because you feel stuck, it's making you question your path.
Yeah, and just like, fuck, you know, I kind of just want to do it just for some extra bread, like real quick, like for three months or so. But that's still kind of like my old way of behaving, you know?
Exactly.
Like more reactive, like, oh, let me just go do this real quick and then get right a little, or at least it might feel that way. But in reality, I'm sure like getting into that, back into that environment's just gonna drain me even more. Like, even though like I might be bringing in some cash flow, maybe there's a different way I can go about it in a more seamless way than to be out here trying to interview when in reality I'm like wearing a CEO hat. Like, why the fuck am I out there trying to sun myself? Like, not like that, but you know,
I get you.
just like, you know what I'm saying? I gotta talk in like code a little, you know?
No, I get you. In a sense, like, it doesn't fit your identity now because you worked for yourself for so long. So it's like hard for you to go back to that world because we don't, even me, like I know how to start something and make money. I don't know how to create a resume.
Yeah.
I don't. Like, it's not how like my brain is wired. So,
yeah. Like, I'll be honest, even my LinkedIn, I'm even thinking about repurposing that whole page, because I have recommendations on there, and in some cases, like where I want this to go is like, I still kind of want that profile because it has like a lot of work I put into it, kind of like my past life, and I could just more like generalize it where it's just like, all right, you know what I'm saying? This is something that I could reference for maybe future clients or investors. Like, hey, you know, check out my LinkedIn page. Like, I'm verified. I've got recommendations, shit like that.
I get you.
Shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe even like.
The thing about that, it could be a slippery slope.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because it could reinforce previous behaviors and identity, and that's what we don't want. We don't want because that's this like shift right here, right? That's why we have version A and version B, as in this is identity A and identity B.
Yeah.
And so you're saying to me before we started this session how you want to step into how is it that you're gonna grow the business in a way to where it's like flowing more, it's more seamless, you have more time on your hands, and if anything, you don't have 30,000 cars, you only have 5 cars that are bringing you $50,000 every month instead of all of these cars. Well, again, understanding, well, we live in an energetic and emotional reality that attracts things to us. Yeah, I just asked you, what is the main emotion you experience throughout your day as you work, as you think about things? You stay stuck. Well, stuck could also bring you towards a place of like shame. You feel ashamed you're stuck. You feel like you're not progressing.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? And shame is low vibration.
It's fucking low.
And so this reality that you're trying to call into your life, which is like, let's say you're making, you know, we take this to $50,000 a month. $100,000 a month. Do you think this guy feels shame?
Hell no. Shit.
So
anything, he feeling like a star.
So
shit.
That lets you know that there's a misalignment.
Facts.
And that's what I want, you know, everyone watching is like, that's why it's hard for people to attract. Although you guys may affirm, you know, things into your life, you may have these affirmations and journal and all this stuff, but the thing is like there's a misalignment because this is what you're feeling, and whatever you feel creates a vibration, and that vibration is a magnet that draws things to you. Right? But if you're feeling this, which is a low vibration, how is it that you think that you're gonna attract the things necessary for your reality to be constructed? So in order for us to get out of our own way, we need to look at other areas in your professional life that maybe can override this feeling of stuck. So 20 to 25K a month is making you feel drained because of why? Like, why do you feel drained? Is it just like all of the hats that you have to wear?
I think it's partly a lot of the admin stuff. Sometimes I would say like a lot of the DMV paperwork, you know, having to kind of upkeep that. Maintenance luckily has been decent. Clients are usually pretty good about like, hey, you know, it needs an oil change. You know, so I try to like educate the client and say, hey, look, can you guys keep a sticker on the window, send me a picture every month, and kind of just check in with them and see like how many miles they've been driving. Now, the tracker device kind of gives a little bit of that, but I think that's like what the VA can kind of do and keep track of like when everything is due. So that way I can just make one trip to AAA, take care of all the registrations, kind of keep track of all the maintenance and shit like that. So even though like some of this could be running in the background, it's still taking a lot of like mental real estate, you know. So I think just like being more proactive about, you know, the tags and stuff like that. And then the other thing is like some clients are really good about sending in their weekly payments. Some are like, hey, you know, they need to be reminded and follow up. And then maybe even in some cases, some clients just kind of fall short for whatever reason, they hit a snag. Then it's like, well, we try to work with them and set up like payment plans, but at the same time, like there's only so much wiggle room. So usually they're pretty good about like, hey, you know what, can you just bring the car back and then we'll work with you once you're ready, you know? And I've even done that for a couple of clients where they brought the vehicle back and then helped them kind of just save up and held it for like a week or so, and then just put them right back into it. So that, or you know, in some rare cases, we have to recover the vehicle, you know, but that's not a hard thing to do. It's just locating it, which we have the tracker, and then call AAA and, you know, pretty much send it through. So it's pretty seamless. So, you know, but it's just some of those things like moving parts where like I feel like a lot of my time is spent on the existing clients, and then when I get to start thinking about like actually growing this thing, that's where I'm stuck, because it's like, well, fuck, you know, I kind of need to generate more revenue in a sense. So that's why I started doing like a side gig to kind of build some more, you know what I mean, reserves. And so that's kind of where I'm at. And then starting to think about like, which direction do I want to go? Like, I like the cash card method because what's nice is like I can get a whip for, let's say, like 5 to 7K, and then just rent it out for, let's say, a band a month, easy, you know, in profit at least. So it's like 300 a week, 1,200 a month minus expenses. So
Right, insurance or something like that, yeah.
yeah, so you know, so factoring a little bit of maintenance here and there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like 1,000 per whip, you know, per cash card, and then there's no like finance debt,
Yeah.
you know, or interest accumulating. So I kind of like that model. And then the model of working with investors or joint ventures, which I think that's where I'm also running into a bit of a snag where investors want, because I'm working with one right now, and he wants things done a certain way. And I've kind of been trying to work with him, and for example, like he gave us 3 cars. He just opened up a new shop, which I understand. So he kind of needs some capital for himself to, so, cause he's in the business of like selling parts and flipping cars and stuff.
Right.
So he's like, all right, you know, here's a few cars.
Like he's like a mechanic or something like that.
Yeah,
He'll get cars for cheap and flip it, and he knows you, so he's like, well, I have these cars.
I have these
How can I make
cars.
money?
How can I, you know, make some passive income and stuff like that. So it seemed like he wanted to get more involved. But then when I was like, well, you want to get involved in the day to day? He's like, oh, no, I don't have time. But then I'm like, well, you're making suggestions on how we should run the day to day and operations. And it's like, all right, fine, I'll streamline, you know, the updates that we send every week, you know, and I think we learned that instead of doing weekly payouts for investors, we do like bi-weekly, because it just works out a little bit better, and they're not like too pressed on when a client needs an extra day or two or something.
Right.
In short, but yeah, outside of them things, I would say, you know, just kind of thinking about like, all right, do I really want to work with investors? You know, do I really want to just kind of go the cash card method route and build up, you know, enough cars to where it makes sense to kind of go up the next tier, or, you know, what's the strategy? So, I like the cash car play, and it's just, it all depends on, you know, how fast I want to move. And I also like the idea of, like you were saying, like, you know what I'm saying, working with, you know, someone who has an exotic, and just working with exotics, and like with whatever whips I do have, especially like the cash cars and stuff, I can start kind of structuring like a rent to own deal. Because I've noticed, like, when I've done a rent to own deal with clients, they feel like, wow, you know, in 2 years when I, pay this thing off, they own the car.
Yeah.
So they feel more invested in like
Mm-hmm.
actually making the payments and stuff like that. So, um, I try to like, um, almost like if I bought the car for, let's say, to make math easy, 5K, I'm gonna try to charge them anywhere between like maybe 12 to 15K, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like
You get a return on the investment. Yeah.
something like that, I'm thinking, because I'm letting the car go versus like maybe keeping the car for like, because some of these cars will last 5+ years.
Right. Right.
So, but yeah, it's just that kind of thing. Like, yeah, I mean, shit, at this point, I'm even open to making all the whips rent to own if I can kind of go into like more of the exotic play and shit like that and really scale that bad boy up, because then it's way less cars. It's just a higher vibe. It's just fly and way more cash flow. So um, I like the car game. Going to car shows, shit like that. So um, yeah. So it's like that's why I was thinking like, fuck, do I go? You know, do I go back the corporate route, and then that way like I could just stack all the revenue that's coming in, you know what I'm saying? Or I could just like do the side gig and up the hours on that and just say fuck it and do that,
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of thinking of the strategy, and then also um, there's a couple guys that do um, how can I say, like because like I think what's missing too is like a little bit of the knowledge gap in terms of having access to the right information to get to the exotic space. Because what I've noticed is like um, a lot of the owners are a bit more sophisticated, you know what I'm saying? And they initially just want you to broker the, for them, which is cool, but you're doing a lot of work for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like it's kind of like if somebody was to help me find clients for my whips, for example, and they get a commission, which is cool. It's just the exotic play is like, obviously higher price points, therefore bigger margins, shit like that. So yeah,
All right. So
yeah,
this is my understanding right here, right? So this is where you are, version A, as in this is how your current business is affecting you on a personal and emotional route, right? Like you've been blessed to grow it towards 20 to 25,000, right? But as a result, when you started, you're a natural visionary, creative, and you like cars. So you're like a hands-on guy. So it seems like because you got to this point, it's hard for you to find that breakthrough because you're working and you're forced to do things that aren't kind of in your zone of genius, is what it's called.
Oh shit.
Right? So your zone of genius is things that naturally, like, you just do great in. For instance, me is like speaking. Me, it's like creating. It's taking risk. That's my zone of genius. Anytime I gotta do something like email work or admin work, that's not entirely, like, that's where my brain has to work 2 or 3 times more for me to get it done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So because you're forced to have to do these things that is naturally something you're not the best at, is for like you have to use more of your brain power.
Yeah.
But the problem here is we only get a certain amount of good decision making per day. So when you wake up, you're doing the day-to-day work. You're dropping the car off, you're checking on the client, you're doing the customer service, the representative work. That's all of the in-business work. But towards the end of the night, right, you're using the brain power that you don't have anymore to
Yeah.
try to shove in some time for you to do the work that's actually gonna move and grow the business. But
Yeah.
instead, it should be flipped. It should be as soon as you wake up, you want to focus on the work that is the most difficult, that requires more brain power. Because again, you're already kind of going against yourself because it's not something that you're naturally good at.
Yeah.
So if you really want to get this stuff done, because it seems like this stuff is what's gonna, you know what I'm saying, grow
Mm-hmm.
the business and set things up in place the way they need to be,
Free up some stuff.
this is something you have to do as soon as you wake up in the morning and not later on
Yeah.
when you've worked on everything else.
Yeah.
Because this just requires you to think more than everything else that you're doing. For you to drop off the car and clean it, that stuff you already you've been doing your whole life. There's nothing new to that.
Yeah.
And so when I
Yeah.
hear you speak about, like, you know, how you're gonna move into this direction,
Yeah.
right? Again, we live in an energy universe,
Mm-hmm.
energetic reality. So the intuition, that intuitive thought that you are receiving as you think about this, as you share this with me,
Yeah.
is not one that's in alignment with you already having this. I'm gonna say that again.
Yeah.
The intuition,
Mm-hmm.
the thoughts that you have been getting, whether you should go to corporate or you should get a job and go all in on that for you to save money, for you to figure something else out, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That intuition is coming from your lower self.
Mm.
It's not entirely coming from the reality where you have the, luxury car rental places. And the
Yeah.
reason I can tell is because when you speak on this, it comes from a bit of like uncertainty and like fear.
Yeah.
And when you feel uncertainty and fear, intuitively you don't get the aligned actionable steps for you to take.
Yeah.
So an exercise I want you to do now is, I want us to project ourselves. I want you to get into a feeling state
Yeah.
of this reality that you want to experience.
Mm.
And you want to do that first.
Yeah.
Okay?
Hell yeah.
So I want you to close your eyes.
Yeah.
And the reason for this is because everything is a state of consciousness.
Mm.
Consciousness just means a state of awareness, right?
Yeah.
Because we're two in this reality, you felt stuck. You probably thought about this again and again and again for weeks, months.
Mm. Yeah.
Your subconscious mind operates based off how you actually feel and the emotions that you experience a lot. So if you want a new idea to come through into your conscious mind, well, we need to shift our conscious thoughts to a reality that we are like, that we desire, and we need to see it as if it's already ours.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want you to get into a relaxed state, as in just, relax a little bit, move your shoulders, just get relaxed. And whenever you're ready, I just want you to like close your eyes. This is an exercise that I like doing multiple times throughout my day when I feel stuck, when I feel like I don't know what path to take. Alright? I just want you to like close your eyes. Just relax. Alright? I just want you to take, a few regular breaths just to get your body to relax. Relax your muscles, your hands, your shoulders. It's a good day. You're safe. You're blessed. You woke up. You had some good food. You're getting more and more relaxed as you let the darkness relax you and get you into like a deeper state of mind. You know, you're feeling relaxed, really relaxed. Everything is perfect. Everything feels good. You know. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to think of someone that makes you feel very loved. You know, could be a family member, a friend. I want you to see that person right in front of you, and I just want you to hug that person.
Mm.
Maybe it's been a while since you hugged that person. Hug that person like it's the first time you hug that person. Feel how much they matter to you.
Mm.
Right? And I want you to like imagine yourself hearing them say to you, I'm proud of you.
Mm.
I'm proud of you. You did it. Thank you for just being you. I want you to really live in that moment. Think of what they're wearing. Think of the weather. Where are you guys? Are you guys in a park? Picture that in your mind. Are you guys on the beach? You know, feel what that feels like. Imagine what it is you have on. What clothes are you wearing? You wearing a suit? Are you wearing a, you know, sweatsuit, sweatpants? But this is the first time you've hugged them in a long time. Now, I want you to do is I want you to think of the income that you're making.
Mm.
How you feel when they hug you. How much money do you feel like you're making? What thoughts are you having?
Wow.
You know? And what thoughts are you having as you hug this person? I want you to think of your business. How does your business operate? Do you have a lot of time on your hands? Think of just how life is in this moment, like where you are in this time. Because now you're connected to your heart. And your heart already knows how you want your life to be. And now, whenever you're ready, I want you to open your eyes and I want you to just tell me, how is your business ran? What is your business like?
Mm. Yeah. Vibes. Yeah, no, for real. Yeah, I see abundance.
Do you see abundance or do you feel abundance?
I feel abundance.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, I feel abundance. You know, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel experienced. I feel, you know, I'm saying? Like,
Experienced as in you feel like you trust yourself.
yeah, like I know what I'm doing. I trust in the process and like the confidence in, let's say, working with some joint ventures, some investors, and having like a solid team of like,
Is this what your heart is saying? I don't want you to go back into your brain. I want you to
yeah,
feel it.
feel it, yeah.
How did it feel like in the meditative state that I just put you in? I don't want you to go back to like the logistics of everything. How did it feel like everything was ran?
Smooth, yeah, like no worries, everything's in place. Um, Excitement, you know what I'm saying? Like, um, yeah, like,
Did you feel tired?
nah. If anything, it was like, nah. I felt bliss, like energetic, um, felt free.
Felt free.
Yeah. Felt freedom and abundance of like opportunities and resources. And like, I picture myself with my two baby daughters, you know what I'm saying? Like that, and on the beach, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, just kind of like feeling that love and stuff. And that was real childlike for real.
There you go.
You know,
Now here's what I want you to do. I want us to bridge this gap right here. Right?
ooh,
Whatever. You know what I'm saying? What is everything that make you feel stuck?
mm,
What is everything that make you feel free? Because you're on this vibration right now, this rich, abundant frequency, you're on the right frequency for you to attract this into your life,
wow.
right? I want you to think of what is it about your life that makes you feel free?
Yeah, I feel like it's more like, mm, it's like more relaxed and,
What
you know,
what about that life, about that person that you became in that vision that felt free? So for instance, I know over here you feel stuck
yeah,
because of what? You feel stuck because you're questioning your path.
yeah,
You feel
yeah,
stuck because you're doing things you're not the best at.
yeah. It's more 3D like.
See that's a bar.
Sheesh.
It's a bar. In
Yeah,
3D,
that's,
like
that's
what does that mean to you? 3D.
like, it just feels like it's more like almost like friction. I'm pulling against
There you go. Force.
force. Yeah, friction, force,
Force.
force for sure. It
This
feels
feels
like
like force.
resistance.
Resistance. Yeah. See.
Yeah, like I'm kind of like as it feels like I have like a
Like weight on you.
weight and like some like I'm running up the hill, but somebody's trying to like something's pulling me, and I got like a resistance band around me. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, how do I remove that resistance band? Yeah. So with the meditation, it felt like it removed that.
There you go.
That was dope.
And so now what I want you to do is I want you to think of everything in your life right now that in your business as well, in your personal and professional life that makes you feel resistance.
Yeah, I feel like I gotta like just remove the idea of like going back to corporate, to be
There you
honest.
go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fucking removing that, John,
There
out
you
of the
go.
fucking way, and like, you know what I'm saying, just sticking to what I know works, whether it's just cash cars, whatever the case may be. And let's say like, you know, um,
Yeah.
you know, like, yeah, networking, stuff like that, like really just um, stepping into that like feeling of what it's like to be a full-time business owner and embodying that identity for sure, and yeah, and then to top that off, just to put the cherry on top, living in the 5D.
Yeah,
Fire, for real.
yeah. Boom. So like, notice how different your mind switched as soon as we got you onto the right frequency.
Ooh.
Like, we didn't read a book, we didn't do anything right now. But before we even got you into that place, you're like, man, sometimes I be thinking about doing this. Sometimes I be thinking about doing that. Well, that's because the frequency you're on is not the one where you already are experiencing that reality. It's from the place of lack.
Wow.
So your mind is just like, anxiety will manifest in like this, like I have to do something.
I have to rush into something.
You're trying to do something. And as a result, you're like, well, I could do this, I could do this. That's where the uncertainty comes into place. That's why, if you don't know, when you said, I said I have this lack of knowledge of how to grow and expand, I also wrote beside it lack of self-trust.
Yeah.
Because when you say you lack knowledge, a lot of times, again, we're talking about spiritual principle. It's like God knows all, bro. So it's like, if you say you don't know something, well, when you're tuned into the right frequency, you don't need to know everything. God is gonna provide it for you.
I'm gonna say a bar right here too. For the one time, hence, we are in a library and there are books, so
Yeah,
we need to read a book.
Yeah.
And this is something I thought of as you were speaking. Like my parents, specifically, shout out to my mom. She has this idea of like, go to school, get good grades.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Get a good job. And every time she sees me, it's like she's projecting that on me.
There you go.
And I didn't realize how much of an impact she has with the energy, like how she'll, you know what I'm saying? Like her energy is so strong. When she says something, it kind of like, a part of me is like, all right, she's, you know what I'm saying, moms. So I want to like show that respect. At the same time, like, I feel like I've got to pull her aside and have a sidebar at some point and be like, hey, look, understand this is your, you know what I'm saying, perspective. Are you open to like me sharing mine and actually having that dialogue? Because I don't know if I've
That's mature.
ever actually, took her out for breakfast or brunch and, you know what I'm saying, like, mommed her up. You know how they say, like, wiped her up, but mommed her up type vibe.
To make her feel supported, loved, that she's your mom.
Yeah. And then just being like, I remember times where we'd be at, like, Champagne Bakery and I'll vibe with her and be like, yo, I want to, like, I want to stack some bricks of gold and shit. She'd be like, damn, son, is really on that type of time and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, bricks of gold and shit. So it's like.
But that's key. That's key what you just said, because we didn't start off our session where you spoke about that. It took for us to project you into a whole other, space and time for you, because we helped you get out of your logical brain. Because sometimes, like, again, it's like your heart is where your higher self is more connected.
Yeah.
Right? So by me helping you get into a relaxed state, I was able to help you tap more into like your spirit.
Yeah.
And your spirit was the one that showed you